I haven't heard anything yet. Beth, has anyone been talking? I just got on, so if I'm supposed to be the sound check, I haven't heard a word.
Hello?
Are you unmuted?
Yes. Now I hear people. Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear?
Okay. Okay. Now we're back over to
So did
the agenda probably.
So
We couldn't hear anything online until just now.
okay.
Yeah, so it's.
So all right, let's start over.
Okay.
Okay, it's a redo.
Right.
See if I can do better. So welcome everyone to the November Académie Lafayette Board of Directors meeting. And first start, let's get a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second. All right, any discussion? Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, carried. Now we'll move to stakeholder comments with Elise Lasker.
All right, good evening, everyone. You are going. But in case you do not, I'm Alex Lasker. I joined AL in 2010 as the K computer teacher, and since then have grown into a lot of different roles. This year was no exception. When I came back from France this summer and learned that we did not have a director of development, I immediately wondered, who will organize the raffle? I went to Mr. Bang, told him I might be able to help because I had some old raffle files from the pandemic, and the rest is history. With less than 3 weeks to kick off, I went to work with my only goal being able to make the $20,000 in prize back. Then time worked. I had to set up rally ups, make flyers, find prizes, find volunteers, communicate with parents and teachers, come up with a t-shirt, improve on the structure so that the ticket sales would be successful. All this while still teaching part-time. And as you know, our AL community truly showed up and sales surpassed every school record. While people say I'm responsible for the success of the raffle, the truth is that I could not have done it without many, many humans. So without further ado, it's time for thanks. Thank you to Mr. Banks for brainstorming with me and taking a chance on me. Stephen Livingston, Marcia Berry for their guidance setting up Rally Up. Building principals, Heather Roy, Jean-Claude Gattard, Marissa Paul for the announcements twice a week on the intercom. Building managers and front office staff for distributing the weekly update flyers. Teachers for sending emails to parents and encouraging students to sell tickets. New Director of Development, Allison Stewart, for her support on mid-raffle. Retired AL Development Director, Sarah Guthrie, for all of her help in being a true cheerleader throughout. Volunteer Beth Morris for finding prizes, Angela Mishka from the Creative Department for helping add the raffle ticker to the AL website when he was giving me a hard time. The local print shop for printing our banners and yard signs. Keith Spaniger from Proforma Ideology for providing our glow-in-the-dark shirt. A big thank you to our shirt sponsors, Country Club Bank, Vanguard with Reese Nichols, EAG Advertising and Marketing, Tropical Snow KC, that's an AL business as well, Westport Flea Market, and Cosentino's Brookside Market. Weekly prizes were also generously donated by Cosentino's Pride Shopper, Made in KC, Frog Ranch, Waldo Pizza, French Market, Earl's Premier, Bacaro Primo, Brookside Toy and Science, Brookside Party Warehouse, Mother Earth, Whole Foods, Brookside Market, McLean's, Waldo Hardware, and Chicken and Pickles in our Kansas City. Also, thank you to the parent volunteers who showed up this morning to help roll shirts and sort prizes. This room looks like a little assembly line, and the ones who will distribute them tomorrow to students. Thank you to all of our sponsors and supporters for ensuring that AL truly got the maximum amount of money possible out of this event. Thank you to my family, my friends, my building principal, Dr. Paul, and my colleagues for their continued support, words of encouragement, and sharing my excitement and disbelief. I just saw the numbers go up and up and up. Thank you to all of the parents for playing along with the parent challenges and their kind, supportive emails. Thank you for buying tickets and making this year's raffle amazing. I hope I did not forget anyone, but if I did, please accept my apologies as my brain is still in recovery mode. It was an honor to serve the AL community. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Now you have a new job. Yeah, I've learned to listen to Alex's crazy ideas. Sometimes she comes to me and says, bring the crazy idea. I say, okay, that's right. The same like the link. You know, if you don't know, the link is the one we use, kind of intranet.
Mhm.
So I was trying to figure out how to use Google Drive, organize it. It was my second year, I think. How do you organize it to make sure that everybody, because in Portland I had a small business server, so you couldn't get everything. I'm saying, how do you do it here? And then she came and talked to me about the link. I said, okay, it kind of makes sense. Let's give it a chance. So now that's why we host all our stuff, and she maintained it very well. Thank you very much.
Will you turn your camera on to see when you're speaking? And we should have put the camera on you, so they couldn't see you, but they heard you well, so.
So I'm gonna turn it in everybody's picture or me?
Just while you're speaking, see, like, key
Yeah.
people, just so they see somebody at the meeting.
It's gonna be me.
Right, it's gonna be you. You do a lot of speaking.
Okay.
All right, while he's doing that,
No, I'm gonna add everybody now. Okay.
we all scoot around.
Good, that's fine.
All right, so can I get a, motion to approve the October 9th meeting minutes? Okay, second?
Second.
Any discussion? Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It carries. All right, PTO. So sorry. Okay, we're gonna start with the governance committee and the flu annual oversight reporting.
All right, turning around.
Right, we're gonna let you sit at the, so people can see. I think it's nice if people can see who's speaking. Thank you for being here.
So, you want me to put?
So I just forwarded it.
Okay.
Oh, the quick thing? Okay, yeah. Okay.
So, you want to put it out for what you said?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate any person who wants to spend a weekday evening making sure that a school is run well, so I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming to Kansas City to be with us then. No short commitment.
This one.
It's in the board prep folder where the
Yeah.
slides.
Okay, let me get what press service easy. Three, four. Which one is
It's so,
Yeah, up at the top.
the one?
yeah, that's the, yeah, that's,
This one?
yes.
Let me, Hannah, do you see my screen?
Yes, but it's pretty small, but yes,
Okay. Good now?
yes,
It's better?
yes.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'm Alexander Boyd. I am your charter sponsor from St. Louis University. It's a privilege to be your sponsor. Before we get started, I just want to tell you a couple of things about how this evaluation works, because this is our first time doing this together. So you will see reference to the district scores. The reasons that we compare Académie Lafayette to the district is because that's the way the statute is written. And so that's kind of in all contracts about with goals, like you're going to compare yourself to the resident district. So that's in there, so I will make reference to KCPS for those reasons. Once we do this together in a public meeting, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. But just know that this report, the full report that you receive, not the presentation, is going to be posted to school's webpage, and then it'll also be posted on Académie Lafayette's webpage. So I'll run through the findings by standard area. There are 5 areas, and then I'll take questions. So a lot of slides. Okay, so the standard areas are academic achievement, curriculum instruction, operations and compliance, budget and finance, and then governance. And then there's an overall rating. You can see that you met the standard in all areas. Thank you. Congratulations. With the academic achievement, this is where we're going to compare you all to KPTS. So the first couple of slides, this is ELA proficiency. So for your standards, we have like an all-student group that we use for comparison, and then we have a focus on your student subgroup as well. So you exceeded the standard for both of those in ELA proficiency. So this is the math exam that everyone across the state takes in public education. For the overall group, you exceeded your goal by 32, close to 33%. And so you'll see also, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. So we don't, because Académie Lafayette performs so well, saying that you'll do better than the district is not good enough for the standards you need. So that's why we do that 1.25 calculation. So it's 25% better than the average of the district. So you'll see I have the average of the district there, proficiency multiplied by the 1.25, and that's kind of that 30.38 is what you're trying to see. And so you'll see for the all student group, you exceeded it by about 33.33%, and then for the student subgroup, unfortunately, it's about half of what you exceeded, a little less than half of what you exceeded the all student group by. So that's an indicator that there's still some work to be done in closing the gap. And next is math proficiency. The same idea here, just a math exam. So for the overall students group, you exceeded by about 27%, which is excellent. Math scores are not great across the state right now. And then for your student subgroup by about 12%. So again, a little bit less than half there. So again, shows that there's room to grow with the student subgroup. Science proficiency, it's a similar story. However, I will note that with the student subgroup here, we see it into pass at 15%, which is really, really nice, especially being in the science field. It could be because we don't test in science every single year. I believe it's 5th and 7th grade is where it's tested, so it is a smaller sample size, but that is interesting to know. Then next we'll talk about ELA and math growth. So the way the state calculates growth is really a good design, but it's hard to explain. But essentially, for every student that took an exam, the state said this is how much this student should grow within a school year. And essentially, for most of the students, you all met that, so you met that growth standard. So the students who came to Académie Lafayette learned as much as they were supposed to learn in a year, at minimum. They may have learned more, but in the overall group, we know that they learned at least what we expected them to learn in a year. So this is for ELA and math. When we do this again next year, there will also be a science growth measure. For curriculum and instruction, these are things like your curriculum being aligned, your teachers being highly qualified, and following a robust teacher evaluation process. And spending time in classrooms or with teachers, and I'm sure it's not a surprise that we met all these standards. with operations and compliance, you won't be surprised to hear we met all the standards here. These are things like meeting state and federal laws, reporting correctly, participating in the assessment scores, which we just went over, and then posting your report card on the website. And it is posted on your website in the requirements notification section. So. Budget and finance, we met all of these standards as well. Thank you guys for making sure that you get an independent audit, that you approve your budget by June 30th, and that you participate in all of the expenditure reporting that the state requires. More budget and finance, your monthly check register, you publicly review the financial statements monthly, and your fund balance is above 8%. The requirement for the state is that it's above 3%, but for a standard for Académie Lafayette, 8% is what we agreed upon in your above that. And these, I want to make a note too that these things were really easy for me to find, so I think it's Alex I need to thank for them being so easy to find on the internet. So, and in the full report, I think you see it. Sometimes I even link back to where I was able to see them for the public and do the same thing. For governance, thank you guys for getting your background checks done and reading out the sunshine law calls every time you go into executive session. Thank you for that. And then thank you also for doing your ethics commission reporting annually. So there is one on here that says board member training comply with all state laws. Interestingly enough, there aren't any trainings that are so, we could talk about that later. If there's something you guys want to write down and get together a weekend, we can set out to make sure that I can hold you all accountable for any specific training you would like to complete. But that is it. Thank you guys for that. And then I'm happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Thank everyone for clearing the background check.
All right, well, if you think of anything, you always feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. But also, thank you for running really great meetings, where it's easy for me to keep up with these things and present a clean report to you all. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
I think you had a little more in governance.
That was it for
Oh,
government.
that's it for governance, okay.
Yep. It's just a report.
That was easy. That was easy. All right, Finance Committee.
Right. Okay, so for accounts payable, there were several noted in the finance report, and then obviously the Excel file. There were lots of transactions in there. But I did want to point out, too, that we talked about in the Finance Committee, and that was progressive insurance. So Barry had asked about that one. So we paid $32,000 to progressive insurance, and we had budgeted about half of that for this upcoming year, but we had purchased additional buses, so we had an increase in auto insurance.
Yeah.
So that's why we'll be over budget in the auto insurance for the year. And that's about $16,000, $17,000 what we'll be over budget by. JoJo's Catering, we also talked about that. So for during October, we spent almost $50,000 on JoJo's Catering. That's our food service vendor. So if I look at what the budget is and I annualize that out, it's about $12,000 over budget if we're looking at just a month. Now, it is somewhat in the beginning, so we may have over-ordered, so we're going to keep an eye on that. The one thing that Michelle brought up in the meeting was if we are over budget throughout the year, that we might tap in, or not tap into, but we might appeal to our parents just as that might be a need. And I did meet briefly with Allison about that, and we'll certainly explore that if we need to. So just wanted to touch on those two transactions. Did anyone else see any transactions they wanted to talk about or have questions about?
I know some people were not able to access, the reports, so I don't know if we want to pull them up here or if you have them accessible too. I think the overall finance report.
The overall finance
Yeah.
report? Yeah, we can do that.
Which one do you want to?
Bottom, second from the bottom.
One?
Yep. So during October, we paid Country Club Bank was paid $250,000, and that was to purchase a CD, certificate of deposit, and that was in relation to the bus purchase. What we ended up doing was a cash secured loan, and so in order to do that, we had to purchase a certificate of deposit. For student, there was a prior year correction. That was a billing error on their end. Their spreadsheet didn't calculate the amount correctly. They had initially come back that we owed them $100,000 and some thousand. I told them that's incorrect. It should be $45,000 is what I came up with, and they agreed. So we made to pay that prior year correction. Two Rivers design build. They were paid $75,000. That's for a pay application for the music room, the room above us. That's now complete, so I do expect another pay application to be submitted, and we should pay that in November or December. See that come through. The family center that we pay for pre-K services, paid them $26,000. That was for the annualized amount that we owe them July through September. Talked about Progressive already. PTO, they paid Frontier Bag $13,000, and that's for their trash bags sales that they do annually. Booster, so there was a fundraising fee from last Musketeer March that hadn't been paid yet. Kind of got shuffled around with the Director of Development leaving us. And so anyways, we had a $51,000 makeup payment we still needed to do. And I did want to remind us that we had deposits of $133,000. So still a good fundraiser from Musketeer March, but obviously there's fees associated with that because it's a professional fundraising organization that puts that on. And then we already talked about JoJo's. Is there anything else you wanted me to cover in that? Okay, thanks. So did anyone have any additional questions about accounts payable? We'll need a motion to approve the accounts payable transactions for October. So moved.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
So financial statements, I want to talk about those next. When we're looking at the September financial statements, we look at that as from a cash in, cash out perspective, so on cash basis. It makes sense to talk about it that way. We spent more than we received by $21,000 during September. We look at that cumulatively, July through September, we spent more than we received by $80,000. Now, a caveat to that, or something to point out, is at the very end of September, we spent $250,000 on those buses, those 4 buses. So there's a little bit of a timing issue there. So we really would have been at a positive $170,000. So we would have been at a point of receiving $170,000 more than we spent. But because we bought those buses in September, we did dip into reserves. We're looking at, cumulative numbers there. We have the EdOps financial statements on screen there. We do have variances. I don't get too excited about that at the beginning of the year too much. We could drill down on a couple of those, but I want to maybe focus on that in 2 meetings. We'll go over variances a little bit more in depth. Any questions over the financial statements before I move on? Just some other items that we talked about in the Finance Committee meeting. That's payroll insurance. So, as we know, Humana got out of, or is getting out of, the health insurance segment of their business. And so we went out to market. We had our broker go out to the market, came back with Cigna, some additional insurances with Cigna. They kind of did some cookie cutter policies for us that matched Humana, and they actually came back with a 3.62% decrease in cost. What that translates to is about a $40,000 decrease for very similar products. They also offered an administrative credit of $75,000. Pretty good news there, just because last year we had that 30% increase that the board helped cover last year. So some good news there for this year. And then Humana, they still were in the ancillary insurance business, so they still offer dental, vision, and life, but they came back with a 9% increase on dental. So we again went out to our broker and said, hey, can you give us some different rates? Even with Humana, they tried that. They came back with, I think, 6%. But then they went out to the market and found Pacific Life Insurance, which matches identical to the same benefits, at least for dental, and it'll be at the same rates that we currently have, so no increase essentially. And we can get a rate lock for 24 months. So that's pretty nice. Still working on ironing that out, and that doesn't renew until January. I do want to go back to the health insurance. That will renew on December 1st. So the employees are working on open enrollment this week right now. We want to talk about some unplanned capital repairs. Last month, I did let you all know about the Cherry parking lot. That's that picture on the top right-hand side. That's been repaired now. Came in right on what we were expecting, $17,800, just under $18,000. That was a safety hazard, so we had to repair that. Talked about that last month. There's also these additional items on screen. Cherry hand wash station, that cost $9,000. Oak's fire inspection, they had some areas that needed to be corrected. So the boiler room had to be cleaned out, $6,000 plus dumpster. Also, electrical signs needed to be lit, and so they had to run power. So they're drilling through walls. So that's coming in about $12,000, $15,000. Oak has a tree safety concern where a limb's going to fall and possibly hit some folks or cars, etc. So there has to be removal and stump grinding, $8,000. There's also brickwork that has to be done. Tuck pointing is what that is in the library and the exterior to the library, as well as the chimney. Working on bids on that right now, but that'll be added to the additional capital repairs that are needed. And that's an item of concern too, because if water or moisture gets into those bricks, freezes, spans, we'll have a worse situation. So working to get that remedied. And then of course, and you can actually see down in the left-hand corner, that's the results of that brickwork that needs to be done. That moisture gets in and it bubbles that paint, bubbles the plaster, so it causes damage. And then also Oak has some peeling paint in the hallways, and that's obviously a item of concern with paint. You don't want it to be flicking off or landing where it shouldn't. So that's $9,000 to repair that. So a lot of repairs going on. We weren't necessarily expecting, and for the net of capital improvements there is about $50,000. Of course, as the year goes on, that may increase, but just want to keep you all informed of some of those extra costs that we didn't necessarily budget for or plan for. Painting, that may fall into the normal repairs and maintenance of the building budget, so we might be able to just $1,000 off of that 50. But and just wanted to keep you informed on some of those repairs. One thing that Michelle did mention too in finance is with building being the old J.C. Nichols building, we might be able to appeal to the Millers Nichols Foundation. I've chatted with Allie about that too, so we might have a little bit of contact there, so we'll be following up on those. Especially because a lot of that is old, unfortunately. It is an older building, so.
It's an old, beautiful building.
It is a
but it's an old
beautiful,
building.
love the architecture of that
Yeah,
building.
it's amazing.
Last item that I wanted to talk about, that's the audit and then the tax return as well. So two items. So the audit's still ongoing. That's why we passed out some of those questionnaires to fill out. There is there's an addressed and stamped envelope for you to return that to the auditors. That will go to the auditors. So if you would handle that, obviously it's still ongoing, and the accountants that prepare the tax return like to have the audit done before they prepare the tax return, just in case there's changes. What gets filed with the IRS is final, and we don't have to file like an amendment or something like that. So we'll need an approval, a motion to approve the extension of the school and the real estate holdings tax returns, which is Form 990.
And there you go. All right. Can we get a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I talked with the auditors today, and I asked if we were on track to have the audit done before the next board meeting, and we have a goal of having the audit wrapped by the 7th of December, so the Thursday before the next board meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Development.
Come to the hot spot. Okay, hi everyone. Good to see you in person. We'll have a quick development committee update for this month. Really wanted to run through the cash raffle. Thank you. I have the final outcomes for numbers included in that wrap up, so I thought I'd share that here before we kind of officially close the door on that tomorrow with the prizes being handed out. Generation Day is coming up in our annual appeal. I don't know, Stephen, if you have one more thing you want to talk about?
Oh, I guess I could talk about that. So, we'd like to give an update on basic formula and where we're at on the weighted ADA. So the amount per weighted ADA is remaining constant, about $11,300. Got $295 on it. That's what we were paid in the last month. It's still an increase from last year, which we were being paid $10,500 roughly, and it's more than what we budgeted at $11,000. So that's good that we're being paid more than what we budgeted, but we are down 19 students. However, if we look at that, we're down 19 students, but we look at the attendance percentage of 92%, we'll still be 150,000 better to the good compared to the budget. So.
Good. Yeah, great, thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Okay, so as I said, the cash raffle, we wrapped that up at the end of October. Elise, I know, did that wonderful thank you beforehand. I think we talked about this already, but she has done such a wonderful job. If she ever wants to keep doing it, that would be she did wonderful. So we had grossed $142,851 this year. That is the total that went through our Rally Up website, our vendor. With the expenses, prizes, and processing fees, that totaled about $28,786, which gave us a net profit of $114,064. So really blowing out of the water. I don't have a net comparison for last year, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's somewhere. I didn't have the immediate access. But I mean, our growth is wonderful, you know, we really blew that out of the water. I think everybody's aware, but we originally had a $90,000 goal and stretched that goal 3 different times, so it's really cool to see. $10,000 cash prize winner was Nate King. they are an Académie Lafayette family, so that was pretty exciting. They're great, they're very involved, so it was really neat to see that it was one of our own. And then, stats, I just wanted to throw this on there as, final hurrah. We had 61% student participation and, almost, 557 students sold more than $100 worth of tickets. Wow. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of t-shirts. And we, again, like Ellie said, we really, had a great line going in here today, wrapping t-shirts, even in the homerooms. All of those will go out to students tomorrow, along with some other prizes that they won. And really, that's a huge year.
Yeah.
Huge thank you for all that. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Generations Day. I'm throwing this out here because we do have a need for volunteers. So we've got our Generations Day is coming up this week. If you're not familiar with that, that's our version of a family day, grandparents' day, really inviting those who don't get an opportunity to be in our community on a regular basis to come in, meet the students, be a part of the they're going to be touring this art gallery with their classes this year, with the teachers, and then having a little bit special one-on-one time afterwards with their own students. And so we are doing it across 3 schools. If anybody on the board is interested in sharing some additional time, I know you all share a lot of time, but I'm happy to send the volunteer link out this week too. I like this one because it's not an overt ask for money. It is really an opportunity for people who just don't get to be a part of our school community to come in and see it and to kind of share that special part of our school here. So we are bringing in 700, almost 800 guests this week across the 3 schools. It's wild. It's awesome. We are ensuring that all 1,300 of our students can participate this year too. So really trying to make this a holistic community event. And clearly, our families are too, which is wonderful.
Yeah, if you could send the link out to see if we can get anybody to
that.
no, that's okay. I know I looked at it through the newsletter.
Yeah.
You had it in, but yeah, we can make sure.
Yep, I will get that out tonight.
See if we can get some help.
And then our annual appeal, that is coming up here quickly. We are going to start our campaign on Giving Tuesday, as sending out some thank yous to our community and our fan base. We have a campaign through written letters, emails, and social media that will be happening through the end of the year. We are going to include the new 25th anniversary stickers to be mailed out with the appeal letter in early December. I can, in January, ideally provide an update on that. I did not provide the timeline here of our appeal, of our campaign, but I can share that with the board as well in an email form, some other format, come December. And then 25th anniversary celebration. Saw that on the start of the agenda. We are starting to talk for our 25th anniversary celebration as well. Some different conversations around a reception, so an evening reception in early March timeframe, I believe, is what we were talking through. And then getting our STUCO and our student groups involved on various ways that we can, in the spring, start really celebrating the school with the students and getting that level of engagement as well.
Okay, we're planning something like the event we had before, 5 years ago. In March sometime, I think the second week of March before the break, we're also thinking to having a launch sometime for the day the charter was approved, but it's going to be locally between teachers and students probably, and see how we can do it. We still have to have a meeting with Palm, Chappie, and Carol and Leslie to see how we can get everyone involved. So I already talked to each of them. It's about setting the date and discussing how we can make it happen. We do not want to miss the December 4th.
December 4th, 1998.
Yeah,
It's the day the charter was approved.
Oh, my God.
And then we need to, it's our true or whatever, so we need to do something. We don't know that.
And if you don't know who we have sitting right there, But that's Ed Rucker, and he was the founding father of the board.
You have the right to charter, correct?
And just people know what we're celebrating. No, it's beyond the 25th anniversary. We're celebrating our complete cycle, pre-K-12.
Mhm.
And we're graduating our first cluster. So this is fantastic. All aligned in the same year.
Yeah, awesome. Pretty amazing.
Thank you, Alisa. Too much report.
And thank you, Allison, you have jumped right into everything. It's been awesome. Great.
Okay, the District Performance Committee met a couple of weeks ago, and we looked at the peer reviews launch update. Remember, the peer review launch data was presented at the last board meeting, but it was not complete yet because we needed to make sure that everybody was able to complete the form. So, and then we'll be looking into the fall NWA data. We administer NWA tests twice a year, the fall and in spring. NWA is a national test that we take. And then look at the quarter one attendance report. So as you see, this is where we are for trade reviews. When we started our efforts, we were at 18, 19%. We're moving forward. If you remember, in September when I reported here, it was at 18%. Now there was a push to make more parents to fill in the form, and I would like to really thank all the principals and ANAPAM for their effort and the help to make sure we get to where we need to get. I'm sure there are some other parents who have not filled it in, but that's where we are, 23.37. Our goal is to get to 25%. Now, I know last week we attended the DESI Charter School Summit. It's like next year, the cutoff for free and reduced would be at 19%. It came down to 30% this year. Next year it's going to be 19%.
Meaning what?
It means that we'll get more money, for us.
Well, if more people qualify, yeah.
Right.
But, also they talk about increasing the formula next year. Yeah, probably at the same rate. It should be great.
And so just to clarify, that means in the past you had to hit the 30% threshold to qualify for the extra funding for free and reduced lunch students. They are decreasing that to 19%.
19%.
So
A few years ago it was 40%, I think.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's the state level or something, but that's what the lady announced. It might be a good thing for us. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe you know more about what's going to happen. And now report.
You need to plug in your battery.
But it's plugged.
Something's wrong with the plug. Please don't go down.
Some wiring in harmony.
Always the problem with my computer. I think IT department needs to do something. The problem is not charging, even if it's plugged. Cannot die. It's catastrophic. Okay. It's just that I need to try every port, see which one works. That's all the time what happens.
Do we need to invest in a new
There's
computer for you?
Maybe,
And Marcia, definitely Marcia.
Oh, not till next year.
Okay. It's like us, but I don't think it's going to be the thing. It's about port that works or no. Something to see. It's like us.
There you go.
It's just a
So
new
maybe
plug
you
that you
should
need.
put-
Your
plug.
Your computer.
No, it's only this one. Maybe this one is bigger. You see, it's different. You see, it looks like the charging power is
Oh,
the
sure
same.
enough, yeah.
You wanna try mine first?
It works.
I think we're good for now,
Yeah.
but you need a new truck.
So, and now so this, what you see is the blue one. Concentrate on the blue one, because the blue is the fall. The other one is winter and spring. The blue is overall language art and communication art. 68% is at or above normal mean average or mean score. So the yellow was last school year, the year before, and the brown is 2 years before.
And as a reminder, this is not saying 68% of students are scoring above average. It is comparing it to the national score, right? Because how NWA is different than math.
It's always the national average.
Right.
So national average, all the school students who took the test in the U.S., 68% of our kids is better than all that's what it is. When they calculate the average.
Right.
Is the 300 years goes the blue again, 49, 38. I remember after COVID, we are digging ourselves out of the mess, so we went from 38, 50, 49. And for not 300 years, as you can see, 300 years have been more affected by the COVID test, COVID gap. We're still making more efforts to make sure that minority and low income get where they used to be before. This is IT student with IT, 48%, and student without is 70%. This is English language learners versus not English language learners. So one thing also you need to know also is we have a few influx of English language learners at the high school level also. Because we have kids coming from immigrant families.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole K-12. I mean, third grade 12, second grade 12. This is by minorities, by ethnicity, Black, Hispanic, multiracial, and white. Understand that. I think the committee asked me to see how they did for the last 5 quarters, the current grade, 8th grade, the last 4 years, how they did. When they were in 5th grade, they scored at 86%. And then 80% in 6th grade, 91 in 7th grade, and 91 in 8th grade. The current 7th grader did 70%, 58, as you know, and then 73, 71. The current 6th graders, 75% when they were in 3rd grade, 80%, 84, 85. And 5th grade, 84 in 2nd grade, 68, 74, 78. I was trying to figure out which one was a COVID year or not, or pre-COVID year. But anyway, 4th grade, 40% when they were in 2nd grade, and then 3rd grade they scored 55, and then 70%. Remember again that we don't teach English reading until 2nd grade. When kindergarten, 1st grade, we only offer 45 minutes of English. And 3rd grade, they started with 48 and then 71. Yes.
So that current third grade, that'd be the ones that started right after COVID, wouldn't it? I can't.
COVID
Or
was,
maybe, oh no, they may have been kindergartners.
they went, kindergarten.
But I think the reason we wanted to look at cohorts is looking at sort of the same group of
Sure.
students, how are they doing over
Right.
time, how are they
Right.
improving, which is kind of hard to tell when you just look at the bar graph. I think what's clear from the bar graph is, we definitely have achievement gaps, which I think came out in our SLU report, which came out in the data that we've looked at before and is part of our strategic plan, but we thought it would be helpful to see just by group, how are we doing within sort of each class. So I appreciate you putting that together.
Thank you. Mathematics. 68, 63, the blue one again is the 62. And 4 free and reduced 37. And non-free and reduced go to 69. Math had been the hardest hit during the COVID one, and it was really bad for us.
And not just for, I mean, I think it was really bad across the country.
Yeah,
Many
nationwide.
struggled.
Yeah, it was bad across the country, but I'm figuring out, trying to teach them online in a foreign language where kids will turn off their camera and go back to bed.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think the teachers did a good job in trying to do work, and even our mock test score shows again a good improvement from the last 2 years. We're waiting for the state to release, to take out the embargo so we can share it in December. For students with IEP and students not having IEP. So look at the blue one then, line. And minority students, not minors, but ethnicity. What we do. This is the progress in general by grade level. Count 8th graders where they were in 5th grade, and then the count 7th graders also where they were. Yeah, that group had again. You look at the map test, had a significant improvement from last year, from where they were in 5th grade. And the current 6th graders go from 65%, 72%, and 5th grade from 65, 66, 71. The 4th grade 42 to 73, and 3rd grade also from 57 to. I'm sure that if the 8th grade and go back all the way to 2nd grade, it's going to be in the 50s. All of that.
Great to look at that.
Science, full science, 78. It looks like we're still at the same level. For NW. Friend reduced with non-friend reduced. IP students. English language learners. Ethnicity. Any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions?
And I know you're also having these with your buildings, you look at this data, you think, what are the key things? What are the key conversations that you're having with the buildings about what we see in the data?
So what we're doing, based on the strategic plan, remember the strategic plan will go in the next 5 years. For map tests, we're talking about getting to 75% from where we are. And what what we're doing is mapping out the whole course that we want to have for the next 5 years, for NWA and for MAP2. We do it by ethnicity, we do it by grade level to see in the next 5 years, this is where we want each category to be. With the goal of cutting, as we said, the achievement gap by 50%, that's what we said on our strategic plan. So we're working on making sure it's happening. We have groups dealing with mathematics and helping teachers to be more effective in mathematics. We ordered a new math program, and then Mr. Mullah is coordinating the math committee. We're also working on improving reading. I personally am working with English teachers to make sure our teachers have the right training for the science of reading. And how do we do it in a bilingual context? So that's what we're doing, and at this point I'm still reading all those books, and I will be in a training in a couple of weeks for administrators, science reading for administrators. And we're also working on immersion program. In the summer, Dorothy led a team to Atlanta for training for French immersion. Madam Royce Heather attended two weeks ago another conference for French bilingual in Washington, D.C. What we want is making sure that all the data we have, that you have, go down to the building, go down to the teacher, and every teacher knows where their kids are and what are their categories and how to move it. And we have a data corner for each classroom, because if the teachers do not be aware of where we're going, they're not going anywhere. So that's where the change is happening. We need to support them, work with the parents, and also work making sure that our after-school program is effective. And also English language learner program is where also we have suffered for the last few years. I don't know if you remember, but finding a teacher had been extremely difficult for English language learners. So we need to make sure we are fully staffed and supporting them, because we're having more and more, especially at the high school level, we're having more and more students coming from other schools, from different backgrounds. So that's where we need to end up making sure also, especially minority and black, where they need to be. That's the conversation we do, and we want to hold ourselves accountable. Every quarter we have a admin meeting, admin retreat. What we want to see is look at our data and see whether or not we said what we said. We did what we said we would do it. We did one a couple of weeks ago, or to make sure that we're where we need to be, and making sure that by in the next 5 years we should be able to resolve most of our talent. So it's gonna be a multi-pronged approach, supporting teachers and working with parents and making sure that the academic support is where it needs. So it's not going to go anywhere. We will put it on everybody's face until we resolve it. Attendance. Where we are, by building, the green one is total, first quarter, and the different colors are by building. So attendance is still a challenging one. It's with Tyler, and also taking attendance for now, because the default is if the teachers do not take attendance, it means the kids are. So, and it's a challenging one. We're still making sure that everybody's taking attendance and doing what they need. It's a challenge. And absenteeism also is an issue. This is also one of the data that we want to make sure that teachers know the data, their attendance rate, and who's absent, and how do we help them call and support those kids. So one thing, part of our strategy process, we started implementing is, remember we have this Wednesday, data arrival. One of the Wednesday is about data analysis and sharing at the building level, making sure the building have, and then looking into the attendance, achievement, the discipline data, and bullying data. We're planning also to administer some survey, like a baseline. We don't have a baseline, and to see after Thanksgiving where we need to be at the end of the school. Race and ethnicity, attendance. By category, reviews, IEP, and ELS. Any questions, concerns, suggestions? You want to see next month?
Great report, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I like after Anna was presenting to the committee, they had great questions asking for more, but that's fine. That's good. It helps us make sure, because the board needs to know the data. They need to know and ask questions, and this is good. It protects everybody, so that you do your job as the oversight. Oversee the school. Thank you. Now, head of school report. One of them is Town Management, Academic Program, and Transportation. I would like to first, before I start, introduce Howard, who's over there. Howard Carpenter is our new Director of Operations.
Yay!
Extremely knowledgeable. He come from Sanders School District and was the Director of Operations there. And took his retirement and got back from retirement. So has been, he hit the ground running, understanding all the things we're talking about, which is amazing. And have you done the ride boarding the buses?
5:45 in the morning.
Very exciting.
So, a lot of things. Thank you so much. So exciting. And we have another, also we've hired, Diana.
She's
She's not okay.
training.
It is for program, federal program, and compliance coordinator. It was, a position was have been vacant for a long time, for maybe 3 or 4 years. So now we are almost fully staffed. We're just waiting to hire event and volunteer coordinator. So now, recognition of our teachers, recognition, Tinkhorn librarian. Thank you, Madam Tinkhorn, for all your work organizing the Scholastic Book Fair at Chair. Kids and parents had the opportunity to shop for books and please help purchase books in French and English. Thank you, Madam Tinkhorn. For Oak recognition, Anya Florence, a great teacher. All our gratitude to Madam Florence for her ability to organize the class in learning station and having her students take ownership of their learning. The student-centered approach allows them to use more frequently the French language in authentic communicative activities. Bravo. So, our building recognition is Silly, Usman Balde, Katim Wilson, Adam Nachum, all the our leadership team for helping manage the our building during Dr. Paul's absence. So they have been fantastic. They went to visit her. So and Mr. Balde and myself went on Saturday. So the service will be Saturday, this coming Saturday. They have been great. So for the leadership recognition, Cindy Nair, Nancy Dassler, and Patty Special education, we receive 100% compliance review, amazing job, they've spent a lot of time, and all the special education team did a fantastic job. Now, as I just introduced, Howard Carpenter have been hired for the position of Director of Operations, so we almost fully staffed. The first Teacher Advisory Council was held a couple of weeks ago now, so on Wednesday, next Wednesday, 10 days ago. It was great that we have 6 teachers. As you know, the Teacher Advisory Council meets once a month just to see how we can address any concern or improve our working environment and getting teachers involved in key issues. So it's an advisory committee. We have 6 teachers, 2 per building on the committee. So once we meet, the agenda is open. They put agenda items, we discuss them, and after that, I report. So I will take what they raised to the principals meeting. We can discuss it. Once we resolve it, and send a report to the rest of the team. If there is an issue that is beyond my competence and should fall on the board's lap, so I'll bring it here. Professional Development Committee is another project that we're trying to set up. We write the job description, we design, the rest is finding volunteers, and we hope that we will be able to meet by the end of the month. The Professional Development Committee is also one that will help identify needs and monitor progress, and making sure that the interests and the needs of the teachers are addressed. So the way we are approaching professional development is in 3 buckets. First bucket is our strategic plan needs, where we want to be, how do we train the teachers, like French immersion, diversity, equity, and different also student teacher effectiveness. So the second bucket is building needs. So this building has a specific needs. For instance, at ARMA, they're more focused on ID, National Baccalaureate training, and so on. Cherry may be interested in something else, like CBIS or something else. And the last bucket is for teachers. Individual teachers need, if they want to go to a training or want to buy a book or something. So that's how we're doing the allocation. Buildings have their own professional development budget. They may decide, the principal, send who to send to what PD. Academic Parent-Teacher Conference on October 26th. So the survey of the conference that was sent, and approximately 94% of KD parents agreed that their concern and question were addressed, and they feel valued as partners. French seminar, I just talked to you about Heather attending a couple of weeks ago a conference at the French Embassy. And this is today the French government paid a presenter who came here today, the whole day, to discuss how to use French media in teaching French. So I saved her. I took her to the airport and came back after. So I was glad that there was no, traffic jam.
Yeah.
But she did a great job. I think that she was happy, and we paid for. We offered breakfast and lunch. Thank you, Jessica. And we think that we will establish partnership so that whenever she comes here, she can come to our school also. Remember, our school is like the center of the country, the heart of America, the biggest French public French immersion school in the country. Mm-hmm. So everybody needs to pay attention to what we're doing. And they're doing it. Thank you. Leadership retreat, as I said, we had one. It's always for strategic goal and data. And when I say leadership retreat, it's the principal and the admin leadership. It involves also the coordinators, building managers and different coordinators to just to look at where we are and where we need to be. Fruit cards are here, great. So now it's available for building. The other one is this reading success plan that are being sent to parents. This one is a requirement from DESI. We need to test the kids, and then whoever doesn't meet a certain threshold, we need to inform the parents about where they are and the business reading success plan. Of course, we will have a higher number for us in second grade and third grade. Second grade, just getting into French English reading. In fact, I asked this question last week at the DESI meeting. What do we do as a French immersion with regard to the testing? Because the testing is done through NWEA. What do we do? Because we don't want our parents to freak out and say, "Oh my child cannot read in English." But what we want also is to share with them the over the years, progress of our kids, how we do. And frankly, in terms of reading, language arts, we have outperformed every surrounding suburban school district year after year. We've done that. And we've done pretty well, but it's not enough, of course. We need to make sure that every minority student and every student is served. So that's something we need to send, and we need to make sure that the parents understand our own specificity. So what services? So at this point, we are serving every student who requested transportation at Arm and Cherry. Everybody being served. However, we're still experiencing delay in the bus service, especially at Cherry, because we realize probably the 45 minutes in between is not enough. If you look at for the transportation services, there's a minimum of 1 hour between the two start. The second one is trying to make sure the buses arrive here before 7:30, not 7:45, but at least between 7:20 and 7:30. So we need to make sure they arrive here and then have at least 1 hour to get there. We're working on that. So we still continue to have issues with those students at Cherry. At Oak, I met with them and had a good conversation to see how to fix it. And he's working diligently with them and see how we can get more drivers. I think the problem is closing drivers. The drivers choose their route.
Correct. The first students for the union, so therefore they bid on their routes. And currently they have 4 for student. I had a meeting with them last week. They have 4 in the process of getting certified to get their CDL. But they're choosing their routes over hours in a kind of a bid process and how they do it. We are working with them. Cross 4 of them, like I said, 4 of them are in the process of getting their CDL, and once they get their CDL, we'll be able to move them over to routes 36.
So we have been also talking about whether or not we will be buying a couple of buses for Oak. We could not be able to do that, but at some point, but we're seriously looking into that. We may, if we find a solution, we may come back to you. We're trying to find different ways of financing it without coming from our own reserve fund. We might find a way for one bus, and the other bus also may use our reserve fund. If our budget cushion for the projection budget of the school year, we don't want to end the school year with the debt. So we're trying to see how to do it. However, we're also thinking about the response for our clean bus grant that we submitted a couple of months ago in September. I think the answer is this month, no?
Should be
Should be this
November.
month. So we applied for 4 clean bus, electrical bus. If we get them, we will be really in good spot.
But I thought it only replaced our current buses, doesn't add to the number of buses.
But those buses are dead anyway.
Yeah,
They're not
we've
using,
got the
we're not
debt,
using
we've got
them.
the-
Oh, we can
So-
get some dead buses. Excellent.
They were at the time of the application.
So that's how-
They were-
Oh,
That's
That's one of the issues we have. If we have those buses, we'll be just using them for
Yeah.
work. But we can fix them, but you talk about $50,000 each. So you rather go and buy a bus than fixing them. So that's the issue. I think only one is running, no? Out of the 4, only one is running.
Right, so that was the big buses, yeah.
So out of 4 big
The
buses,
original big buses.
only 4, 3 are running. So one is running. So if we do it, we'll have 11 buses as opposed to 7 we have now.
So how many routes is First Student running right now?
So
It's supposed to be 4.
For the entire district?
Yeah,
yeah, 2.
That's awful, no.
but the rest is ours. I mean,
How about
Right, but,
Uh,
yeah, that's optimistic.
Okay, I think I'm done, and it's yours. The meeting is yours.
Okay, yeah, I just have a couple of things. One, we talk about the stakeholders who speak at the previous meeting, and we had the one who talked about teacher attrition. And so, you all know, because you are the board, but cares deeply about our teachers, and we have talked with the administration, and we'll continue to work with the administration. And I think that Teacher Advisory Council will provide even greater transparency, the Professional Development Committee, to make sure that we're meeting the needs of teachers and work on that teacher attrition. I'm going to brag a little bit about Mr. Bang here, because I attended the Missouri Charter Public School Association conference last week, and we are the talk of the conference with this bus service.
They want to serve them now.
Yeah, I mean, at lunch, it's like what, one of the schools said, hey, can we talk about a share? But just also in general, just, it's like you go into these breakout sessions and you introduce who you are, and you say the school you're with, and everybody goes, when I'm staying with Académie Lafayette, which was cool. But then, the times, we're in different breakout sessions, but the times I saw him, people are just coming up to him and asking questions. So, yeah, rock star school and head of school.
Well, thank you. I think we did a good move in these bus things. It's a complete mess out there.
Yeah,
It is a mess.
yeah.
So even the school district, I met, is a friend of mine, is there, they're suffering.
Right.
They're really
Which is
suffering.
horrible, yeah.
I think, at this point, the only issue we have at Cherry is being late, but we provide the transportation. So Oak, we'll resolve it. Thank you. Thank you for supporting it and for putting the money there and making sure kids get it.
And it was good to see those attendance numbers.
Yeah.
I think the bus service has helped that, and definitely. The only other thing I was going to say is maybe we can, at the start of next month's meeting, tour the new music room.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, we can do it now. It's done. But you should do it, yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
I think we should,
Yeah.
It's done, it's beautiful. Thank you again for funding that. That's one of our last project now, but we still need to get that, the gymnasium.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we get it, and once we do it, I think we'll be in very, very good spot.
And that will be once the capital campaign launches, so.
And then the only other thing is, we used to have the holiday get-togethers as a board, just kind of a little, happy hour type of thing. And since COVID, we haven't really done that before, so I'm going to send out dates and try to see if we can find a time and date that will work for everybody, just spend a couple of hours, because, we don't, outside of committees and the board meeting, sometimes we don't just talk as humans. Sometimes that's a nice thing. So that's all I got.
Thank you very much, I think.
I'm so sorry, I didn't do this when I was talking, but can I introduce you all off my colleague.
There you go.
Bye. This is Dr. Sanders. I love to work with Dr. Sanders, and I'm tickled that, he took me up on the offer this report of the school we have here in Casey. She is Casey Day, so she sees her around campus instead of me just know she's doing it.
Dr. Thunder was the principal of Blue Valley North
Blue Valley Door.
for 7 years, so she's very helpful in giving ideas and supporting.
And Dr. Sanders was in Olathe,
Yeah.
and I worked with her in Olathe.
Wow.
She was over all of our secondary ed. So we worked together and got a couple of programs started together.
We did. I always said that, Dr. Claus, I'm telling you, can you believe that anybody is at work at 6 o'clock, 5:45? And I just said I almost got a ticket, no one stopped me. She had her faculty meeting, at 7 a.m., not 7:01, and I was on one wheel. I was not gonna be the first one.
I love it. Very cool.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Awesome. All right. I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah, from there, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.